Welcome back, Last Request Barbecue, where I'm making meals to die for. Thanks again to all the subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, click that bell so you get alerted every time I release a new episode. Today's cook is ribs for my mom. So what's different about ribs for my mom? Well, my mom loves ribs, but she can't take the heat anymore. So I'm gonna make a really sweet flavor with a bit of a special sauce on it. Now, all kind of things are going into this cook to make it just a delicious set of ribs. They're going to be succulent. There's going to be a nice barbecue kind of glaze on them. That's going to be sweet, but not overpoweringly sweet. I mean, that's the trick of this recipe. Oh, let's see. There we go. We got a great rack of ribs on deck. We're going to have some special barbecue sauce that we're going to give a try to. And then we're putting on that a special rub from our very good friend, Meathead. If you don't have Meathead's book, it's another one of those books you've got to have. There's Meathead's book. Run, Don't Walk. We're using his spice. And the idea for this came from Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. Not Smokin' Joe Frazier, but Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue in Texas. And he's got just a wonderful YouTube site. I love watching him. He's very calming watching him cook. I never imagined making sausages myself. Never imagined, but Joe's got me thinking about doing it. Anyway, I'm off topic. Let's get to the cook. These ribs have actually been dry brining for about 3 or 4 hours. Now, this is a Meathead trick. So what's dry brining? Well, basically, I cover them in salt, in kosher salt, and then wrap them tight in saran and put them outside. I didn't put them in the fridge. I just leave them outside because it's freezing today. I don't do that every time because a lot of the rubs, even the rubs I make, have salt in them. Well, this rub from Meathead, Magic Dust, has no salt in it at all. So I wanted to put the salt right into the meat. It looks amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some of this magic rub on. A lot, actually, of this magic rub. And again, it's recipe, and I'll put a link in the show notes for the recipe. And it's like paprika. You've got some nice brown sugar. All kinds of great ingredients that really make it super, super flavorful. This makes a beautiful color on the ribs. Let's get it on both sides here. But then it makes it for a dry rib, which I like sometimes for sure. But you're going to see the sauce I'm going to make. And again, the sauce is from Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue in El Paso, Texas. He looks like he's got a great show, does a bit of, and anyway, sausages is ribs. Anyway, he gave me this idea. And someone else gave him the idea. We all pass it on, I guess you could say. There we go. All our ribs are now ready. Look at that mahogany color, right? Just delicious. Now, we'll let that set for a bit and we'll fire up the heat. So we're going to make this glaze. So what goes in here? Well, again, in the simple syrup was a cup of water and a cup of sugar and then melted together. I'm going to use a cup of maple syrup. So this is a half cup. Let's put that in. Now, we'll bring that to a bit of a boil. And then to that, and this is where the Smokin' Joe idea is, add barbecue sauce. So today we're using Good for Good sauces. Check those out. I've just been introduced to these. I've been trying them on my podcast, The Food Professor. It's an amazing brand created here in Canada, all organic. This one is all vegan. Of course, we're putting it on ribs, which kind of defeats that purpose. But, it's a sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. So I've tried it, so it's going to add just a little bit of hit. It's certainly not that hot, but I think it's perfect. So I'm going to add half a cup of this Good Food for Good barbecue sauce. Thanks to my friends at Good Food for Good for sending it along, for giving me a chance to try it. And I'm going to put it in and let that boil a bit. It definitely has a heat to it, but it's got a sweetness. And the sweetness, by the way, is from dates. So there's no sugar in here, no sugar at all. Great entrepreneur here in Canada. So let's add that in. Whew, it looks heavy. I'm really experimenting here, but that's okay. And we whisk. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the ribs onto the Yoder for 2 hours, and then we're going to wrap them up tight for another hour, and then we're going to open them up, put the glaze on for the 4th hour. Very sweet, but it's got a bit of a kick to it. Now, I said my mom doesn't like hot stuff, but combined with the sweetness of the rib, I think it's going to work out just fine. All right, let's get these ribs onto the Yoder. All right, we've got our Yoder up. We have a little bit of snow. It is a cold night tonight, but the Yoder is cranking away. It's actually a little hotter. I'm going to put these on now, these ribs on. There we go. For 2 hours at 285. All right, here we go. There we go. Beautiful. A little bit of extra smoke there coming in. I was smoking some cheese earlier for a different episode. Not much left in that, so I'll just leave that in, let that go. We'll come back in 2 hours. Well, we're into the evening. We're into hour 2, or is it hour 3? 2 hours have gone by. So we're now into the next phase of the cook. So let's take a look at our ribs. Beautiful, looking very nice. Cooking at 285. That bark is set quite nicely. Now, the next phase is we are going to wrap our ribs in a couple of layers of aluminum foil. So let's get that done. I'm using the Alcan grilling foil, which is an amazing foil. Highly suggest, highly recommend. Now, onto this, we are going to put 4 tabs of butter. Not just any butter, by the way. I'm using this President cultured butter. This is an amazing butter, and this is from my friends Lactalis and Cheese World. This butter is so creamy. It's a premium butter. You can get it on cheeseworld.ca. So we're going to put 4 tabs of this butter on the ribs. There we go. And then we're going to wrap that up. Now you can put 2 layers in, but I'm not moving these ribs around a lot, so I'm not so worried about that. But actually I will put 2 in, because you know what, last time, if you checked out the winter rib recipe, you might notice, I didn't comment on it at the time, but it actually had poked a hole in the one side. So I'm going to double wrap these. Back in they go. We're still cooking at 185. Back in for another hour, and then we'll be back. Put our glaze on. Okay, we're now in hour 3 of the cook. So let's take a look at how our ribs are doing. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Look at that. Check that out. Amazing. All right, so now, last step. We make a little boat here. And now let's put in our glaze that we made. Maple syrup and good food glaze. Pour that on. Healthy amounts. There we go. Cover it all in our glaze. Now we leave that uncovered, and we're going to put it back in and let cook for the final hour. All right. Let's take a look at what we've got. Wow, check that out. Let them rest for a bit. And then try and look at that mahogany color. It's a nice set of rib. Beautiful. All right. All right, we've got our ribs in from outside. Look at these bad boys, as Pitmaster X might say. Also, they're just follow. Let's just find the line here and cut some of these ribs. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, we'll call those fall off the bone ribs. My goodness. What a treat these are going to be. All right. Look at these. We've made boneless ribs. Let's give it a try. All right. Let's go for it. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Oh my goodness. Let me go ribs. Listen. Try this recipe. Do this recipe. Moist, delicious ribs. Everyone, including my mom, will call these my mom's ribs. Look at that glaze. Fall off the bone, delicious. Probably some of the, my goodness, with flavors. It's got that honey, but yet at the same time, it's got a little bit of bite. It'd be good for my mom. Let's try again. This whole piece. Just delicious. You're gonna love these ribs. Check them out. You can hear my dog, Ziggy, enjoying them. Check out those ribs. Bon appetit. Enjoy. Now, off to my mom's place. Give her some ribs.